Mick, great to have you here. Are we relinquishing the moral high ground and playing into Putin's hands somewhat by shutting down our right to freedom of expression around the war?
Good evening, Dan. Yes, there's a definite danger there. You know, we all know that truth is the first casualty of war, and that usually means that free speech is pretty close behind it in the casualty list, because all sides in a conflict try and suppress what the other side's saying and get across their version of events. So as you say, we have blanket naked state censorship in Russia under Putin. We have a Ukrainian government imposing a uniform view on all of its TV channels and banning political parties from talking if they're seen as being at all sympathetic to Russia. But we're not facing that kind of Orwellian situation. But nevertheless, as you indicate, we are looking at a situation where, through various measures, governments and big tech are trying to make sure there's a conformist view of the war. And I think it does risk us surrendering the high ground to Putin. There are both practical and principled reasons why we should be standing for free speech, even in the middle of a war. In fact, particularly in the middle of a crisis like this. Practically, I think it is a great gift to Putin for us to start censoring RT or any other Russian outlet. It allows him to take the moral high ground and to say, well, there you are, I was right. Behind the facade of Western democracy, they're all fascists, really. And it's practically important because, first of all, in Britain, there's no traction for Russian propaganda. Nobody's interested in what Putin says. And so it doesn't do any good banning it here. But around the world, there are a great number of people who, contrary to the impression we're sometimes given, don't just believe whatever the BBC World Service says. You know, there are any number of countries that did not support the UN motion condemning Russia's invasion of the Ukraine. A lot of people around the world who don't trust the West.
Well, exactly, and we need to understand why they think that way, don't we, Mick? And that's why, personally, I was opposed to RT being removed from British airwaves, because, personally, I actually found it quite helpful to know what crazy information was being fed to the Russian people. I viewed it almost as an education.
Exactly. It's a very useful source of information from that point of view. To see the world through the Putin regime's eyes and see what they are saying to their people is a very important weapon for us. And also, as I say, we've got to win the argument against that with the world and not be assuming that if we ban it, that's basically saying not in front of the children, don't allow people to see this. Well, that's never a convincing argument. Censorship is always a gift to whoever you censor because it allows them to play the martyr.